Chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, you know exactly how powerful a podcast can be. Whether it's for entertainment, personal growth, commute time, or your daily, maybe weekly workout in the gym, podcasts are the medium that millions of people use to get the content that they're looking for. And the question I get most often is, how do you create your podcast? If you haven't heard about Anchor, I'll tell you because a good friend told me. First of all, it's free. We always like to lead with the good stuff. The platform has all the tools you need to record and edit your podcast, all from your phone, tablet, or laptop. Anchor then goes to work for you by distributing your podcast episodes for you so it's able to be heard on all the top platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. Best of all, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's a one-stop shop to create your podcast and get your voice heard and your story told. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Representing East Oakland, man.
Welcome back. Another episode of the Hawk Vision podcast. You know what it is, guys. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening. I know you could be anywhere in the world, as the saying goes. I got to come up with something else, but I like saying that. As the saying goes, you could be anywhere, but you're here to rock with us, and I couldn't be more excited and thankful. We've been growing this thing. We got, 90% of the states. We got 30 other countries. So all my visionaries out there, I really, really do appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe across all the other platforms. Share this with visionaries just like you. Now that we've paid the guys, the gentleman that I have the pleasure of bringing to you today is an absolute rock star and somebody that I've been watching for quite some time. Jason Butler is a gentleman that probably needs no introduction. And one of the things that I like the most about Jason is the pure focus and discipline that he has, tackling his goals to eliminate debt. He's been recognized across the online world as Mr. Money Chronicles. You've seen him in Forbes, notably paying off about $36,000 in debt and creating a side hustle income before the gig economy was a thing. And that's why I like having visionaries on. He's been featured, like I said, in Forbes, piling up wins and accolades left and right. Mr. Jason Butler, welcome to the show, sir.
Appreciate it, Chuck, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Man, it's crazy, man. You gave me all those gave me a heck of a shout out, man. And it feels like I'm just now getting started, to be honest.
Oh man, you've been killing it for so long. It's funny because I think when we got connected on Twitter, it was years ago, and you might have been, that might have been when you and I were both launching. And so this one is one of those things that, full circle. I was looking, through my list of dream guests, and I was like, wait a minute, me and Jason ain't rocked yet? Hold on.
I know, right?
You see me talking in the high voice, right? Exactly. Yep. For those that don't know, maybe they've been under a rock. They don't have Twitter or all the other social media apps that are out there. Tell us your story. Like, how did you get started? What made you start the blog in the first place? And how did you even rack up all that debt?
Okay, let's see. I'll start it right here, man. May 10th, 2008, one of the best days of my life. I did everything right in life. Went to school, graduated, went to college. And May 10th was that day of graduation. It was a great, wonderful time, and I was ready to rock it, man. Who knew that a few short months later, the recession would start? And who also knew that I would automatically graduate college and get that $50,000 job? And boom, things just started, man. Things got real. It took me a year and a half to get my first full-time job. Wow. So I was basically working a college job, like the job that I was working in college for like a year after I graduated.
With the degree and the promises of greatness that they told you would have.
Of course. Yep. I went basically from like not paying any bills because I was living on campus to moving off campus, having to worry about paying rent, electricity bills, and then student loan payments.
Right.
All that stuff hit me like a ton of bricks. They don't teach you, or they don't prepare you for that. It's just stuff you have to learn. So I was at a point in late 2008, early 2009, where I had to make a decision. Am I either going to pay my student loans, my credit card bill, or am I going to pay my rent and my cell phone bill. And at the time, I was still looking for a full-time job. Wow. So, of course, I paid my rent and paid my cell phone because I needed that cell phone to get in contact with these
to get the job, exactly.
These companies. Yeah. So fast forward to November 2009. I actually got a job working at a bank, and I was happy, but I quickly realized that I wasn't making hardly any money still.
Yeah.
I didn't have the best money habits back then, so I was still going to happy hour a lot, still splurging on Jordans and stuff like that a little bit.
Yeah.
And let's just fast forward just a couple more years. I ended up leaving Savannah, Georgia, because that's where I was living at the time. Left Savannah, Georgia, moved back to Atlanta because I actually transferred my bank job to Atlanta. That's what got me back up here. And with that, started to get a little bit more serious. But one thing that I realized once I got back to Atlanta, I realized that I did not want to work in the banking industry. I went from working in like a little quiet type Mayberry bank in Savannah to straight hood in Atlanta. The branch that they transferred me to, yes, like no lie, the branch that they transferred me to had the most counterfeit checks in the state. So I was like, I got to get the heck on from there.
Right.
So I actually was applying for jobs, and I eventually got a job in a school and working in higher education. This was in 2011. And I stayed there for a while. And in late 2012, early 2013, started reading blogs. And I saw that people were hustling, paying off their debt, doing side hustles, and just documenting their journey online in their blogs. So I figured, if these people can do it, I can do it. And in 2012, 2013, it wasn't too many black people doing that type of stuff.
Right.
So I started the first version of my website March 3rd, 2013. And at that time, it was called the Butler Journal. And I was just like, man, I want to do this. I want to talk about this journey.
Yeah.
But I wasn't 100% serious or focused or like really had a goal with it. So to keep it real, the first 2 years of my website was trash, man. It was garbage.
You tell me this after we do the intro when I talk about your discipline and your focus.
I want the listeners to get the nitty gritty, brother.
Right.
I want them to hear the real about it.
The
first 2 years, man, I was really lost, man. I didn't know what I was doing, but a couple things happened. I stopped working at the school for a minute, took some time off to do some traveling to just try to get my mind right. And I eventually started back working full time in November of 2014.
Okay.
After working there for like a couple months, in January of 2015, I decided to get serious. I told myself, I need to go on and knock this debt out. I want to like get serious and try to pay this debt out. So in January of 2015, I started to get serious about the debt repayment. So I started trying different side hustles. I did all types of things. Did freelance writing, tried to do some VA work, sold stuff on eBay. What else did I do? T-shirts, and just try to make money any way possible.
Yes. And
at that time, freelancing actually started to do pretty good for me. So I was focusing on freelancing, but I realized that like I was making at least $1,000 to $1,200, between $1,000 and $1,200 each month for freelancing.
Nice.
And this lasted from late 2015 to the middle to like early 2017. And I started to realize, man, it was great money, but did not like it that much. Like I was focusing so much on other people's websites. I was basically helping to build their dreams while neglecting my website at the time.
Right.
So, and it's crazy like how God works, man, how things work. No lie. Like after I started realizing that I hated it, I ended up losing all my freelance clients within a 6 week time frame.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was it was a punch in the gut at first because 2 of them came like out of left field. I didn't know that was going to happen, but one of them were changing. One client was changing their business model.
Gotcha.
So that was understandable. But that left my side hustle income. It went from about $1,600 each month to like $400. So I literally took 2 months to like get my mind right and figure out what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And during that time, I started to focus back on eBay. literally started going to thrift stores. Like I was doing a little bit of stuff with eBay, but I might have been selling like 5 or 10 items a month at that time. But once I started focusing on it, I went from having 10 items in the store to 20 to 50. Then I eventually got to over 100 items. And now, as of right now, I have over 210 items in my eBay store, and it's growing.
I love it. Wait. Before you give them all the eBay game, because I'm excited. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm excited about this one because I think timing wise, I think this interview is perfect, right? Because most families, even before COVID even hit, most families could avoid bankruptcy and major debt issues for an extra $500 a month, right? That's what the little saying was. That's what the stats were. I mean, even back to 2008 and 10, like you were saying, it was $500-600 a month. You could avoid going into bankruptcy. You could avoid losing the house, foreclosure, all those things. And you were already at that point doing the freelancing, but there was a shift in your thinking because it became a job for you, right? So now you're like,
yes, it did.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Okay, so you go from 10, 20 things on the eBay store to now 2020, you got over 200 things sitting there. How does one set up a profitable eBay store so that they can, the concept of eBay is awesome, right? You take buyers, you take sellers, you match them in the middle, eBay takes a cut, everybody's happy. But how does somebody jump into that game when there's no college course for eBay, at least not when you started? How did that happen?
Honestly, you have to start with what you know. Like, that's exactly what I did. Like, I love sports, man. Okay. Baseball, basketball, football, the whole 9 yards. So I started selling jerseys, bobbleheads, and Jordan tennis shoes. And I tell everybody these days, start with what you know, because at the end of the day, if you let's just talk about a sports jersey right quick.
Yes.
If we have a Julio Jones Falcons jersey, he's arguably the best receiver in the NFL right now.
Oh, you sound like an Atlanta person, but go ahead.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Of course.
I love it.
Of course.
Dirty Birds. Shout out to the Dirty Birds.
Man. Gotta represent for the team, even if they suck. But that's
trust me, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I understand. Yeah. I know. Be easy on me.
I feel your pain. Yeah, I feel your pain, brother. let's just say we're in a thrift store.
Yes.
You see the Nike Julio Jones jersey. It's $5.
Yes.
You grab that jersey. You know for a fact if the jersey's in good condition, it doesn't have any holes in there, and it's like an adult size jersey.
Yes.
Of course, you're going to grab it for $5, and then this is what I do, and this is what I tell everybody to do. Look, you should download the eBay app. Type in Julio Jones jersey. There's an option for you to see what the item recently sold for. Like, since I'm a pro, I don't do that with jerseys or anything like that anymore. But with other items, I do that. It's like, for me, if I was to grab that jersey, I would list that jersey for at least $39 on there. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to sell for between the prices of $30 and $39. So it's really easy to get started. But the problem that I run into with a lot of new people that talks about the game, they don't want to do any action. They're afraid that they're going to lose money. But at the end of the day, you're not going to lose money if you do everything the right way.
Right. I think there's always these steps that we go through when we're launching a business or even trying to figure out how to effectively run a side hustle. There's a level of fear that you have to overcome and just start, right? You can learn these lessons on the way. I tell people all the time, you didn't know how to do your job on day one. You just got paid while you were learning. And entrepreneurship is backwards, right? You don't necessarily get paid while you're learning, but once you learn, you get paid way more, right?
Definitely.
Wow, I love it. So let me back up because you mentioned something that I preach about often. You mentioned that that people buy Jordans and sometimes you'll sell them on the store or whatever the case is. But if we relate that back to finances and people being in debt in the first place, why do you feel like people that know that they are not in the best financial place still go out and buy Jordans every month because they seems like they drop a new pair every month, every other month. But why do they still do that? Why do they still go buy the Louis Vuitton purse and do all these things that, at the end of the day, like, the infamous tax check. We know that you don't have your money right, your credit right, but you still go out and buy the wrong thing.
Be honest, it's self-confidence. They're trying to impress strangers. That buying those items, it gives them a fake sense of well, let me see, how could I say this? It gives them a fake false realization of something, like of feeling good.
Yeah.
They like it. I can't lie. Like I've bought stuff in the past, man, and I looked at it. I'm like, man, who am I trying? Like, why am I doing this? Like, who am I trying to impress?
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, heck, I buy things now because I want them, not to impress anybody, not to flex anybody. Because at the end of the day, like I already got the girl that I want, so I'm definitely not trying to stunt for any female or anything like that. But a lot of these people, man, they don't have confidence in themselves. They have low self-esteem, so they buy items and they buy things that they think is going to make them feel better, and it probably does, but it's only temporary.
Fellas, if you're listening to this blog, what you just saw was a master at getting points, jumping on an international podcast and saying, I already got the girl that I like. But I agree. We've all done that, though, because, even myself, I remember vividly, I once got fired from a car lot. And, anybody that sold cars, back in the day, that they give you on car lots is different than most other sales positions. They give you whatever commissions you've earned up to that point, they give you that up front along with your check and PTO and all that stuff. So I remember getting fired from a car lot, and I think maybe I might have been 21, maybe, but I was really good at sales. And I got a check roughly about $7,500. When I tell you I went straight to the mall, like I went straight to the mall, balled out. Like this is back when you had to have the polo and the khakis, like you had to have the Boys to Men sweater, the V-neck sweater, and the Dockers. Like it was so crazy. And looking back on that now, I'm just thinking I'm like, that could have been a down payment for a house. That could have been, that could have been stocks. That could have been investments.
Yeah, I was about to say, you could have flipped it into some stocks or something like that.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. And I guess my question is this: when did you realize that you had to have a better relationship with your money?
I realized it when I turned 30.
Okay.
Like things like that's when life hit me. Like I turned 30 in 2013, and like I turned 30 in October of 2013. I actually started a website in March of 2013.
Okay.
Like 30 was that transition from 29 to 30 was so interesting. Like it was a heck of a time. I'll say that. Like I still had a lot of fun, but when I turned 30, I realized I got to grow up. And then after I like literally like a month and a half later, my grandma died. So that showed me. I was like, oh snap, this is real.
Yeah.
Like people like, of course, like I've had family members die before in the past.
Sure.
But nobody as close as like my grandma and stuff like that.
Right.
So that actually kind of like helped light the fire. And I was like, okay, I have to get this stuff together, because at the end of the day, if I live to be like 80, 83 or 84, I want to make sure that my family has something. Even before then, I want to make sure that the family is taken care of. Like,
right.
If they want to go to college, they can go, and they don't have to worry about graduating in $30,000 to $40,000 worth of debt like I was.
Right.
If they don't want to go to college and want to start a business, I want to be able to give them the money to help them get started, because everything I'm doing on my own.
Right.
Like my mom and my dad got a divorce in '93, so I've been the man of the house since '93.
Wow.
So all this side hustle stuff, I had no pops, no. I didn't have a pops to help me with this type of stuff.
Right.
Now the good thing is, in high school, I got a mentor, and my mentor was able to put me on game to a lot of stuff. So I want to be able to repay people back, like repay when I do have kids, help them out, and also even younger family members too.
Right. I think that's the best part is knowing that you have a knowledge base that you can pass down. Like, of course, passing down the money is, and making sure the family has a head start from where you started is always the goal. But I think that passing down the information is the gap that we have, as Black folks. Our parents didn't know, right? That's why they kept telling us to go to school, get a good education, and get a good job. And we look at it and it's like, well, that really didn't work for y'all. Why are you telling me to do the same thing?
That's definitely real.
Yeah, it just, and I think that's why I think passing on the information, and part of the reason why we do this podcast, man, is just to help people shorten the learning curve. Let me ask you this. In your experience, what was it that you learned about your finances and your student loans that to the previous conversation that you want the world to know right now? Let's say there's somebody second year of college, third year of college, and they're starting to get those real life lessons about debt and credit and finances. What would you tell them right now?
Off the muscle. Pay attention to interest. Nobody's going to tell you about interest. I paid attention to interest 2 or 3 years after I graduated.
Okay.
I realized I took out one amount, and then I wondered why the hell it was so much higher.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you this because that's how these companies make money off interest. So I know I know you may have heard this before, but if you're in college now and have loans, if you can pay some money on those interest, like if you pay some money on those loans now, make a payment on that interest. Like you'll think, like your future self will thank you for doing that.
Yeah, for knocking it out. How does one draw attention to a website or blog now in 2020 when it seems like everything is social media based? Like, I feel it's funny. I had a Tamara Sykes on the show not too long ago, and she does website search engine optimization, and we talked about the numbers for websites versus apps in terms of longevity and visibility and all those things. But from your end, how does one still draw traffic to a website so that a blog can flourish and be profitable as a business model?
Great question. And I would say it's twofold. First thing you have to do, you have to know SEO, or at least pay somebody about SEO.
Okay.
Like for the last, like literally this year is when I actually started paying attention to SEO, because I had a couple interesting things happen. Google late last year, Google put a new algorithm out, and my traffic went down because of that.
Okay.
Then this year, Pinterest is tripping for some reason. Like a lot of people are losing some traffic with Pinterest. Yeah. So instead of cry and moan about it, I'm focusing on SEO. So
right.
That's the first way you do it. And basically with SEO, you make sure that you are putting out content that people are searching for. And while it may sound super easy, it's not. You have to do your research on topics. You can't just write something and just miraculously think people are going to show up, because they're not. Like you said, it's 2020 and everything is going video. Like everything is video or social media these days. Yeah. But the good thing about that, because everything is video or social media, you can always direct people back to your website.
Right.
Like if you do a video, let's just say you do a video, top 5 gifts for side hustlers. You can do that video with the gift for side hustlers, but in the end of the video, tell them to check. Hey, make sure you guys check the post out. You go even more in depth, and also have links and examples of each gift of the side hustle. So boom, you got traffic coming from that video. You can do that. You can host that video on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Vimeo. So that's at least 4 different places right there where you can get traffic. So while it's not as easy as it was in the past to get traffic to blogs, at the end of the day, people still gonna read. Like my demographic is between 34 and 54 right now. Okay. And a lot of the older people, they like reading more. So I'm gonna keep going with it right now.
Absolutely. You gotta know your numbers to grow your numbers.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
So let me ask you this: you've taken some advantage of some of the major online marketplaces, like we talked about eBay, and some of the others, but like the Facebook marketplace, and I think there's another one, Mercari. Can you tell the people what those platforms are and how they can leverage that as well?
Okay, Perfect. We'll start with Facebook Marketplace. A couple of years ago, Facebook basically came up with Facebook Marketplace, which was similar to Craigslist. Like, Facebook wants you to always stay on their website.
Right.
So they created the marketplace so that you can buy and sell items as well. Earlier this year, they actually started. They added the category. Well, not really category. They added the option that allows you to ship your items as well. Okay. So I've been testing that out, and I'm not gonna lie. Since people are on Facebook anyway, you might as well cross post your items to Facebook and make some money.
Yeah.
And it's I will say, for me right now, Facebook is probably like the fourth or fifth option for me when it comes to selling, because number one is hands down eBay.
Yep.
Number two, Mercari, which I'm about to get ready and talk about in a minute, and then number three is Poshmark. So I would say Facebook Marketplace is fourth or fifth. It just depends on the month. Like right now, it's booming. Like I'm not sure what's going on, but I've had 2 sales already on Facebook Marketplace. I shipped the one out last week, and I just shipped the one out 3 hours before we get on this call.
I love it. And I know some of the ladies are going to be excited to hear you talk about Poshmark, because that's something that's booming and growing in terms of visibility and popularity as well. So yeah, let's jump on Mercari, and then if you want to touch on Poshmark, that'll be even better. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, Mercari hands down is my second favorite selling app. It's very similar to eBay, but the fees are, well, as of right now, the fees are a little cheaper, but that may be changing, but hopefully it doesn't. But at the end of the day, if you sell things online, you just got to realize you're gonna have fees regardless.
Right.
But you shouldn't sell low price items if you're worried about fees. That's what I tell people all the time. So, but going back to like why I like Mercari so much, it started out 100% as an app. They do have a desktop website now.
Okay.
But man, Mercari's traffic is good. Like things that don't sell on Facebook sell on Mercari quicker sometimes. Like board games, a lot of these football jerseys, they go quick on Mercari. So I would definitely check it out. And it's free to sign up for, and it's easy to list the items. Like I do a lot of cross posting. Just literally just go in eBay app, copy and paste stuff to Mercari, and I get it out there, man. And I actually had a sale on Mercari yesterday.
I love it.
It's a dope site, a real good site. And then as far as Poshmark is a site. I want to say 60% of the people on Poshmark are women, so it's a majority women site. But for us fellas, it's growing, and they actually need more fellas on there because, man, we can be making some money selling these suits and selling stuff that men wear as well. Like I sell a lot of jerseys and shirts on Poshmark. I don't put I don't put all my items on there, but I have I probably got about 50 items on Poshmark. But The key thing about Poshmark is it's more like a social media app. And what I mean by that is that the more you like, what's the word I'm looking for? The more that you,
is it an engagement thing?
Like, that's exactly what I was about to say. The more that you engage with Poshmark, with the people on Poshmark, the better you have a chance of selling the items. So like, for example, you have to follow people. You every day you need to be resharing your items, because once you reshare your item, more people are able to see it. They have these things called Posh parties, at least 3 or 4 of them each day, where, like, let's say, for example, we can have they may have a Posh party for Louis Vuitton items, or a Posh party for Nike items. So any Nike item that you share, you put it in this party, and everybody on the app can see the party, even if they're not following you. So that means you could get a lot of traffic that way to your items. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about for any of these apps. It's about getting more traffic, because more traffic equals more sales.
Wow. So they have like their own like little app-based Black Friday storm the fort Walmart type deal.
Yeah, basically, yeah, you can definitely say that. But it's something that happens every day.
That's crazy.
Every day. But I'm not gonna lie though, the price is probably not gonna be cheap like Black Friday. But it's like, it could be, well, like some sellers may have their prices low, but my price is not low, because they're not like, for me, when it comes to selling, I need to at least double my income. If I bought something for $5, I need to at least make 10. And to be honest, I try to for my items, if I quadruple everything, like make 4 times as much, I've done good.
And that's my fees, goal, right?
That's after the fees.
I love it.
Yeah, because I look at some of this, just keeping it real, I'm looking at some of the crap I got. Man, I spent $3 for a lot of these items, and a lot of this stuff goes for like $20 or more. Like some of it, a lot of stuff. These shoes, I get these tennis shoes from anywhere between $6.95 to like $14.99, and they sell for at least every shoe except for a couple of them have sold for at least $30 plus.
So Jason, I love where you're going right now, but let me ask you this. If this sounds like, and I'm just gonna, because this is not my industry, right? And that's why I had you on. It sounds like a side hustle that is absolutely profitable, but is very time consuming. So how much time do you spend, with the shopper's eye, doing your rounds so that you can find great products to sell? And then how much time does it take to list? And then do you have it down to a science, a system? How much time do you spend on this?
I have it down to a system. I go to the thrift stores at least twice a week right now.
Okay.
Most Saturday. Well, it's crazy. I used to go every Saturday. Okay. But because of COVID, I was let go from my job at the beginning of COVID.
Okay.
So now I may go on a Wednesday, spend 4 or 5 hours out in the streets at these stores finding items. And then if I go on a Wednesday, I may not go again to the next Monday. Or if I go on a Tuesday, then go on a Saturday. So I go at least twice a week. I spend about 4 to 5 hours each day that I'm out in the stores. And I would say 90% of the time I find items. And for me, it's something I like doing, so it doesn't feel like work at all.
Yeah.
Now when I get back to the house to take the pictures, it probably takes me about, I would say it takes maybe, if I find 15 items in the thrift store, it takes me, I will say, maybe an hour to take the pictures. Then when it comes to listing, I've got it down to a science where I could list an item in about I would say about 7 to 8 minutes. Nice. Yeah, so it's not too time consuming. And honestly, if the items are tennis shoes, I just use the same template and just change the name. If I have some Nike Jordans, change it to Reebok Sean Kemp's or some Adidas or something like that.
Absolutely.
So it's about, I would say on average, it probably takes me 7 minutes to do a listing. So I'm not doing too much time on it.
Yeah, no, that's important. And the reason that I said that is because I want people to understand that this is something that, we watch these shows, Storage Wars, and we watch these different shows that are on TV where people are doing it, and they buy these whole storage units, and they spend thousands of dollars in hopes of finding one thing that will make them break even. And so the reason that I had asked about the time you spend on this is that it really sounds like this is less than a part-time job that you are able to be extremely profitable on, and you could scale up if you wanted to.
Yep. And the crazy thing is, I'm trying to figure out what direction I want to go, when it comes to business and everything. And I honestly do want to scale out, because at the end of the day, I follow some people that do eBay full time. I'm not sure if I want to do it 100% full time, but I do want to get to the point where I can make at least $2,000 each month from online selling.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact I can get there, because right now I'm at between 1,000 and 1,200 per month selling stuff, and this is profit.
Right.
So
I love it.
So this is profit.
Now
I want to get to that.
I hear, I didn't want to cut you off, but one of the best in the game that I hear the streets talking about a lot is the guy Joshua Crisp. Are you familiar with Joshua Crisp?
No, I don't know this cat. No, I haven't heard of him.
Listen, his story, I'll send you a link, but you can probably find it by his name, but he does similar work, but he's only on Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon. And so
FBA, okay.
It's a similar model, but what it sounds like the only difference is his model is he goes and has items created specifically to compete with, let's say, the Q-tip, like the little cotton swab in the ear or whatever. he'll go, he goes and figures out who actually, he'll find a manufacturer, create that same exact thing, maybe change the color, call it the Z-tip, the Q-tip, whatever. And people will buy it on Amazon just because it's the exact same thing, a little bit cheaper. So like he's in a similar world, I would say, I guess, but he's only fulfilled by Amazon. And so I was wondering, I was going to ask, have you entertained the fulfilled by Amazon part, or have you looked at the Amazon marketplace? Is that something that you feel like this model scales and transitions to?
Me, I looked at Amazon a couple years ago, and when I was looking at it then, it wasn't for me. Like I saw like a lot of used items, and I looked at Amazon. You got to have a certain amount of items, and I didn't like their fee structure back then too.
Yeah.
Now maybe it might have changed lately. It might have changed, but I didn't want to have to pay like $39.99 a month, and I was only selling 4 or 5 items.
Yeah,
because because everything else that I have is used. So
right, that makes sense.
I'm like,
that makes sense.
So at the time, Amazon wasn't the place to go. But the thing is, if I was able to find like a lot of new items, like a lot of used items, I mean, not used, but new items, Amazon would probably be like a place where I would go to do FBA, especially like when it comes to these board games. Like I know for a fact, people are looking for Christmas stuff now. So I probably could make a killing off brand new board games just by doing FBA.
Absolutely agree. So I looked at the blog, right? Because I have to do my research, right?
For sure.
I jump on and I'm scrolling and looking and clicking and playing around. I got a question for you, man. What is it with the old Starbucks cups? What is it? What is it with the Star? Like, I don't understand the Starbucks cup craze. Like, my wife went out not too long ago and they had some cups that they had just released, and apparently when you put liquid in them they changed colors or something like that, and like my wife lost it. Her friend in Texas was like, get me one, they all sold out. Like, what is it with the Starbucks cups?
And I'm gonna tell you what it like. I'll answer it this way. I would just say that Starbucks has created a monster. Their marketing is excellent. Okay. They have a brand, and people will go crazy and buy all types of foolishness. And I'm just gonna keep it at that.
So basically, like, it's the Furbies on steroids.
Yes, great call. That's exactly what it is.
Wow.
Like, I don't get it either. Like I don't get it either. Like, these mugs, these are just regular mugs with different designs. But those people are collectors. Like, people have been collecting Starbucks coffee mugs since the late 90s. And I'm definitely not knocking them for doing that, because they've helped pay a few bills by buying some of these Starbucks mugs.
Absolutely.
Like, I sold a Starbucks Las Vegas mug last week, yesterday, as a matter of fact, and it just went out. I just shipped it out this afternoon too. Wow. So people love them. And like, I'm actually like in my living room looking at my eBay stuff, because my eBay office is in my living room, and I'm no lie, I'm looking at 6 Starbucks items right now, 4 mugs and 2 tumbler cups. So it's crazy, and I guarantee you they'll sell before the year is over.
I love it. Well, listen, as soon as my wife figure out that you might have one, I'm sure she may be on the page herself.
Hey.
I love it.
Hey. Yeah, have her. Y'all feel free to check out my store, man, Atlanta Mart on eBay, and just do the search for Starbucks. I guarantee you it's at least 12 Starbucks mugs that I have right now, at least 12.
I love it. What lessons do you think that we were not taught in terms of leverage that you're now going to be able to pass on when you finally do have kids, or even to the younger relatives? What have you learned about leverage in this process that you're going to pass down?
And when it comes to leverage in the process, I let them know that you may have to put a little bit more hours in whatever you want to do at the beginning, but that's just going to be temporary. Once you learn it and become a pro at it, you'll be working less, but making more money, and I can guarantee that.
I love it. That's strong. What is it that when you told your girl that this is what you do, what was the reaction? Like, did she believe in it up front, or is it something that you had to show results for? And the reason that I ask, not to pry too much, but the reason that I ask is because I'm doing a series coming up on my YouTube channel. Is going to be based off of belief and the people around us. And so I wanted to ask that question just to see kind of how that plays out when you tell someone, no, listen, I'm killing it. I have a eBay store and a blog and some other things, and this is how, I support myself, especially right now during COVID. How did that conversation go over?
Man, keep it real. It took some time. I'll say that. Like at the beginning, like I never forget. She was like, man, I forget. Like this might have been a couple of years ago, and I was doing some thrifting, and she saw the stuff in the living room, and I forgot. She said something kind of semi slick, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what you mean? I'm like, I'm not gonna. I think she was like, are you gonna always do this? I'm like, hell yeah. Unless I don't feel like selling, I'm gonna continue to sell because it's easy money.
Right.
Like it's easy money. Like, and I know people have heard this saying, but the saying is so true. And it goes like this: the average millionaire has 7 income streams. For me, eBay is my second income stream. So, hey, you got to have multiple income streams. So I'm not gonna. Why would I stop selling on eBay and just worry about a job?
Right.
Like I can have that job and then I could lose that job again, just like I did in March. So I can't. I'm not losing with eBay. Like to be honest, you with any business you have ups and downs. I may have like a couple weeks ago. I didn't get a sale for a week. You think I started crying? Nope. It's part of the game. Hey, it's part of the game. Like it went from like what was it? I think it was it wasn't this week. It was 2 weeks ago. I had a sale on a Friday. I didn't get a sale again till the next Friday.
Wow.
It is what it is. Like I just charge it to the game, and then I have days where I have 2-3 sales today, 2 sales yesterday, 2 sales on Friday.
Right.
So it is what it is. Like I'm not gonna stop doing this because at the end of the day, I still have debt.
Right.
I still want to invest money. I still want to continue to build this emergency fund, and nobody's gonna give me anything. Like I can't go ask my mom or my dad for money.
Right.
They ain't got it. They ain't got it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to get it this way. And eBay, and this website, and some of these other little side hustles is gonna get me there.
No, that's strong, and I'm a fan. Like I said, when I reached out, like I'm an absolute fan. I've been watching you build this thing from the ground up for so long that it makes me wonder why more people don't jump into it. And not that I think that it's a wide open lane. I understand that there's competition, but in terms of our people, I wonder why we don't jump into it more. And especially knowing that we all have, that junk drawer, that junk closet, that quote unquote box in the garage or that box in the attic or whatever, where we have these things that we could be sitting on a reliable source of income if we put these strategies together, which leads me to my next question. Your eBay course.
Yes.
Talk to us.
I have it. Yeah, man, I created the eBay course in 2017. Basically, with the eBay course, I just tell everybody about it. But it's called How to Make Money in Your Spare Time with eBay. And I go over everything, like the whole 9 yards. I let you guys know how to set up your eBay account and get started in like less than 20 minutes. I give you guys examples of items to sell. Have list of like different tips that you can do, like such as how to take pictures. I go over shipping. Like I actually just updated the shipping section. I just updated the shipping section because at one point I was doing shipping. I was kind of like just estimated. And at the end of the day, the estimated worked for me. But at the same time, I took some L's with that too. Like I lost money. Right. And if I'm teaching somebody eBay, I don't want you guys to lose money. So I updated that. Like I no lie. Like I have a printer over here now. I bought a scale during COVID. Nice. Like my business I done grew this business during this quarantine time. So it's on point. It has 6 different modules, and it's something that I suggested any beginner check out. Like if you're like, I have a Facebook group or if you see, and also if you follow me on Twitter, there are testimonials from time to time from people buying and support. It's definitely something that you guys should check out if you're really interested in making it easy money with eBay.
I love it. I love it. When did you realize that it was something that you were going to need? Was it you kept getting the same questions, or was it another visionary step where you said, this is another income stream, I might as well create the course?
I kept getting the same questions, to be honest. Like, I never thought, man, it's a few things. When I started this journey back in the day, it's so much stuff that I'm doing now that I never thought I would have been doing. And like, creating the course wasn't on my mind at all. Yeah. But no lie, I used to get it's crazy. I used to get the same text messages from friends, messages from strangers, and it would be the same questions. And I'm like, let me go on and put this in this course, and get this out here to these people so that they could support me this way by purchasing the course, but they can also be learning about eBay and making money themselves. And man, it's crazy. Like, some of the people that's taking the course are making pretty good money too. Like, I got one of my homeboys, he took the course and he making, like, he do it very part time, but he went from making $5 or $10 to making about $200 to $300 a month.
Nice.
And he like has a demanding full-time job, but he still finds time to do eBay. So yeah, people definitely been having some success and learning a lot from it.
That's strong. I think that's a testament to what you've done, the knowledge that you've built up. But more importantly, what I love about it is the consistency. You're the third out of my last four guests that said that they wrote the book that they wrote because they kept getting the same questions. And so I just want, my listeners to understand, like, there is an opportunity for you to create income because there's something that you're good at that people keep asking you about, right?
It definitely is. And the thing is, like, your mind may try to play tricks on you, like you're not that good or you may not know what you're doing.
Let's go.
The imposter syndrome, that's what it's called. You got to ignore that. You have to. Like, I deal with that every day when it comes to certain things, but you can't let that get to you because you may feel like it's an imposter syndrome, but when you hear that cha-ching, that's real money that's going into your account. So you ain't that much. You ain't no imposter.
Right. No imposter when the check come in. That's funny. I love it. And Jesus Christ, I'm so excited right now. I can't even, because I think that what's funny for me is, me, like I'm very transparent. Like, my mood, whatever mood I'm in, y'all get on Twitter at all times. Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sometimes you be going in too.
Yeah. Like, and so what I love about this podcast is that while I do this to help everybody else, I still am able to learn from each one of my guests. And anyone that listens to this podcast, they have heard the term that you just used at least 8 times. I think we got about maybe 40 episodes, but that imposter syndrome, I want people to understand. And if you can define it right in a second, but I want people to understand that that's a natural part of chasing your dream. It's a natural part of being an entrepreneur, whether it's starting a business or switching your business model. Can you talk about what that imposter syndrome is and why it's so prevalent?
Man, imposter syndrome is something serious. Basically, what it is just the feeling that you're not as good enough as other people are saying you are. Just like I deal with it. Like, it's crazy. Like, I know I make $1,000 to $1,200 with the eBay store. I know that I'm doing pretty good with my blog site, but at the end of the day, sometimes I have to fight through the feeling that you're not good enough and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, you are. Like, I get emails all the time from my readers saying that, man, appreciate you, thank you for doing what you're doing, man, and you this helped out a lot. I recently started doing live webinars, probably I try to do one a month.
Okay.
In my Facebook group, and the last one had about 15 people in there, and it was dope, man. Everybody loved it, and that type of stuff is showing me that I need to just ignore the imposter syndrome and just keep at it. Because, like you said, everybody. It doesn't depend on what levels of success they are at. They have either gone through it before or are currently going through it.
Yeah, I had a lady by the name of Denise Williams on, and she's out there in Atlanta as well. She's one of the youngest women to own her own real estate brokerage. So she's got like
Oh
75
wow.
agents working for her. And even her, she was like, yeah, when I launched this thing, and even the second year, imposter syndrome is real. Like, how am I responsible for all these people? Like, in terms of getting it done. So it's definitely a thing. When you set goals, how aggressive are you with goal setting, and what's your process for looking at revenue quarter to quarter, and like you said, you mentioned that you can do upwards of $1,000 a month. When you were setting that goal, how aggressive were you, or was it something that you hit and now you're going to go ahead and try to set a new goal so that you can figure out what the numbers are so that you can grow that to a larger number?
It's crazy. When I first started doing it, I wasn't really too serious with it. Like, I put the number out there, but I also was still learning eBay at the same time too. So it took, I want to say I probably hit that first, I had that first $1,000 month maybe in 2018, late 2018, early 2019. And I just over time got consistent with it. And then this year I stated that I wanted to make a certain amount with my side hustle income. And the crazy thing is, COVID happened. So that messed some stuff up for a minute. But at the end of the day, you have to pivot.
Yeah.
And what I realized after like when COVID, it's crazy. I got laid off from my job March 10th. Then sports shut down March 11th.
Wow.
So the whole month of March, I probably was like in a fog, like in a daze. Now I was still making money with eBay and stuff, but I still was in a daze. Like, I wasn't looking at my goals. I wasn't really thinking about stuff. This was like, man, what the heck is going on? April came, got back focused. And since everybody started getting on lockdown, online sales started booming.
Yes.
April and May were like hands down two of the best months that I've had. But and it's literally been pretty much steady since then. Like, it dipped off a little bit in September and October, but that's natural. That happens every year because of November and the holiday season. Like, November and December are about to be huge months for me. Like, I already have at least 9 to 10 sales per month, and I mean not per month, but this month already. So it's going great. But going back to the goals, when it comes to this $2,000 goal that I want to get to, it just means that I have to be a little bit more serious with it. And what I mean by being more serious is that I have to find more items.
Yes.
Like, maybe looking different places where I wasn't looking at, like maybe going to more yard sales, going to more discount stores, and checking to see if Walmart has stuff on sale or Target, because you can't just do thrift stores by yourself. Like, thrift stores not always going to have items.
Right.
So I've learned to source numerous ways. Like, they're like, I even source on eBay sometimes, because just keeping it real, some people don't know what they have.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to price it. So it's like, hey, if you have something that's worth a lot more than what you have it priced for, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna try to flip it. Like, even Goodwill has a website. Like, I check the Goodwill's website all the time and find items to flip. So
I love it.
That's one thing. Yeah, that's one way I'm gonna help. That's one of the ways that I'm gonna get to that 2,000 goal. And just like with my other goals, man, to be honest, man, I'm hit or miss with them. Like, there have been years where I've completed 60 to 65% of my goals.
Yes.
Then there were other years, like 2018, where I was only able to get to 30% of my goals, and it's different reasons for them. Like, sometimes I didn't always. Sometimes one year I tried to do too many things. Like, I tried to do 14 things in a year, and yeah, I was tripping. I was definitely tripping because I didn't take the time to actually have a real plan. Like, have steps on how I'm gonna get to these goals.
Right.
But once I stopped doing that, like I only try to do 3 to 4 goals per year now.
Okay.
They're a little bit bigger goals, but I have a plan for them. Now, right now, this year, I have 5 goals. I've reached one of them.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm gonna get to that side hustle income goal. But the good thing is, I've already made more money this year than I did last year with my income.
That's
with
what
my
I'm
side
talking
income.
about. I love it. The thing about, I think that's the part that people miss about goals is just because you don't hit them doesn't mean you didn't have progress. Doesn't mean you didn't have improvement. And you
True
mentioned
that.
something a little earlier. You said that, you had this vision for yourself, and then, COVID hit, kind of shut down your ability to go source for products. And I love that part too, because again, when you tell the universe, or when you tell whatever it is that you believe in, when you tell that person, that deity, I got to be politically correct on the podcast, but
I got you.
when you put it out there that you want a certain thing, you're going to be tested, especially when it turns to launching a business. And so being in a position where sports shut down, and where, your ability to go into the store and touch and feel gets shut down, I think is just a testament to your durability and your dedication, man. I'm excited for you.
Appreciate it, man. I definitely appreciate it. I tell people, as crazy as 2020 has been, minus a few weeks, this hasn't been that bad of a year for me.
Yeah.
And I will say it's been the year where I've gained the most clarity about a whole lot of things. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling people about 2020, man. It started in August. I just got clarity, and I realized what exactly I need to do when it comes to all this stuff, man, because I can't really look at my website and eBay as side hustles.
Right.
And these are small businesses. And if I wanted to be small businesses and have success with it, I have to be serious about it and act and treat it like a business. And like, you're gonna see some stuff with this website and like coming up in a few months. Like, it's about to be off the chain.
Oh man,
in a good way.
You know I'm a fan.
Same thing with the eBay store. Appreciate that, brother, man.
Has the wifey got bitten by the bug yet? She started to look at stuff in the closet and saying, "What you think I can get for this coat?"
She done flipped a couple of items. She actually sold something. A couple of days ago. She sent me a text message and showed me. I was like, okay, that's what's up. I love it. She be selling things. Yep.
That's what's up. Let me ask you, getting close to wrapping up, what does the word vision mean for Jason Butler?
The word vision means that it's something that you have to have. Yeah. Like, you can't have a goal or dream or anything without that vision. Like, you have to have that vision. You have to basically you got to see it before you.
Yes.
Like, whether you're writing it down on a notepad, doing a vision board, doing something online, you have to be able to see your vision before you can have it happen in real life. And shoot, man, to be honest, that's where a lot of people slack up at, man, and mess up at. But man, I have my vision for the rest of this year and for 2021, and I plan on taking things to the next level.
I love it. In terms of your knowledge of the game, how much time do you spend researching the different sites, the new sites, and possibly the international sites, in terms of options that may be coming up for you in the next year or two to ship internationally and do things like that on some of those other sites that are out there?
And to be honest, I do a little bit of research, but when it comes to international, I don't trust anybody but eBay. They have
Nice.
they have this thing basically called international shipping.
Okay.
All you have to do is just check a box, and they take care of everything else. They have several international shipping centers across the country. The closest one to me is in Kentucky. So let's just say you're somebody in Paris and you see a jersey that you want.
Yeah.
You buy it from me. They have to pay the international fees and stuff like that. Once the sale is complete, I ship the item to Kentucky. As long as the item gets to Kentucky with no problem, I'm straight. They will then from Kentucky, they will then ship it to Paris.
I love it. I didn't know that. I thought that it was, that as the seller, you were responsible for shipping all the way around. Like, I know you charge for shipping, like, to estimate, like if it's going from Atlanta to where I'm at in Oakland or whatever. But I didn't know that it was something that they took care of all the way around.
Yeah, they take care of it, man. Like, as long as everything is legit with your sale, like it's not messed up or anything, the person pays it. They do all the international stuff. You just get it to Kentucky. in one piece, and you get to go.
Nice. Last question before we wrap up. If everything shut down today, if we, God forbid, another quarantine, another shutdown, whatever the case is, what's the one lesson that you learned, like you mentioned, March, April, that you would implement immediately so that you don't have the drop off in business, if you can control it?
If I can control it,
yeah.
The main thing I would do, it's a couple things I would do. The first, the day before the shutdown, I'm going to 10 thrift stores. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure that I have at least 20 to 40 items, so that I would like literally have days to list items if I wanted to.
Yeah,
that's the first thing. Second, I wouldn't even trip. I would just I would just literally get on these websites, list, and also research other websites for me. And what I mean by that, I would check Craigslist more. I would check Facebook Marketplace more, because at the end of the day, I wasn't checking those websites that much during the beginning of the pandemic.
Right.
Who knows what I could have missed out of? Like, I could have missed out of a lot of free stuff. So
yeah,
who knows? Because at the end of the day, what I didn't talk about is when I do my sourcing online on sites like that, I literally find free stuff I get at least one free item per month that I'm able to flip. Just like before we got on this chat, I was able to find a 1995 car radio for a Saturn, right? And
yeah.
it was new. It was new. It only been used like once or twice. I just sold it for $35.
Nice. 35.
Yeah.
And see, what I think what's funny is, like, people will say $35 ain't no money, but that's your haircut. That's one payment for a bill. That's somebody's nails. You know what I mean? And the money adds up. Like, that's why I love your model.
I was just about to say it adds up. Like, if somebody was to say $35 is not any money, cool. That's your mentality. You're fine. You're rich. You're a baller. You got it. Right. I'm fine making $35, because the thing is, you make that you sell 10 items at $35, you got $350.
Exactly.
And like you said, that's $350 that could go towards your debt. That's $350 that could go towards groceries or any other bills. Yeah, we all could use that. So,
and that's without touching your regular money. So, like, that's the thing that I think people are missing, is this is on top of, if it's done
extra,
right.
Exactly. It's extra money.
Wow, I love it. Jason Butler, let everybody know where they can find you online, sir.
Yeah, y'all can check me out. First off, my website, mymoneychronicles.com. I am on Twitter at Money_Chronicle. Instagram, My Money Chronicles, and then my Facebook group is My Money Chronicles, The Inner Circle. It's about 400 of us in there as of this recording. We talk all things eBay, side hustling, and we just keep it real, and I just try to educate everybody. So make sure you guys check out that group.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for jumping on. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been rocking with the Hawk Vision podcast. Jason Butler, the cheat code to eBay. And we want to make sure that, we help everybody shorten the learning curve. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe across all your social media platforms. Share this with other visionaries just like you. It's Chuck Hawkins, the Hawk Vision podcast. We will talk.
Representing East Oakland, man.